A striking woman
I missed the
leans
thing.
against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
I guess I would rather those thoughts to just play out instead of like having you click on them. Because I keep like clicking on stuff and then I miss them. Because I walk by the point.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCN.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
Leighton, my maiden name.
Her bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. Okay, we gotta fuck with her, right? RCM, what is that? I'm a little foggy here. What gave us away? Shake her hand. Don't shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
The woman and the lieutenant exchange a brief handshake.
She is unfazed by your rudeness, probably chalking it up to local custom.
Well, that's a start. That's the start of like a 6-pronged approach. 7.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview.
Did the weather
I should
change?
let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Oh man, Kim, that's so nice of you to say. Ultimate competency.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Okay, so we've got, you're on a boat. Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do? What can you tell me about this strike? What can you tell me about this lynching? You seem rich. Can I have some money?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
What? Why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What lustrous hair.
A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible.
Yeah, so?
Now look at you, you misery-clad simian.
Barely
able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you.
Okay.
Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable.
We should... Yeah, we probably should have changed our underwear. It looked pretty nasty.
You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money.
Oh.
You're too...
Ashamed. I'm not ashamed. What is this feeling? I've never felt it before. I'm a goddamn working man. I'm not ashamed to shake this leech for some dough. As I should be, for even considering it. This is a woman and I'm a man. Yes, I should make my own goddamn money by now. What is this feeling? I've never felt it before.
Shame? You haven't really been in the presence of gentlefolk either, have you?
Oh.
What shame is there to be felt in front of these dock workers, cops, and hotel clerks, but to belittle yourself in these eyes of Odinil? Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Her voice breaks the silence. Suddenly you're back again. Apparently I'm back too. Nearby, a seagull pecks at a piece of garbage. Oh, I could really pass this. Fuck it. Can I have some money?
I am sorry. It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does is
Fuck!
surprisingly eloquent, really. The last one, not the first three. Those are ape speak.
I am a scum of the earth!
My. Why'd you say that?
I'm cuck.
That's garbage. You're a police officer.
No, I'm not. I'm gunk. And the stuff people have under their fingernails. Let's talk about something else, please. No, I'm not. I'm gunk.
Shall we talk about something else, maybe?
Her voice is kind, if anything. She sounds a little confused. Well, I think we threw her off a little bit. You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word it feels strange. Such a beautiful boat
Yeah, I
deserves
agree.
a proper name.
That's cool, but your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why?
She taps the side of the boat. It makes a hollow sound.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about the sleek fish? How about the X something? No. How about Dolores? How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
Just like the name for some reason.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
Oh, how do you like it? Boring.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
The eel's hips?
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Ah, okay. Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Oh, no doubt.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license.
Huh.
Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
I'm not aggressive enough. Oh. Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
There is a pinch of defensiveness in her voice, but it is playful.
Wait, we're on an I can't pronounce that.
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
I still haven't seen anyone sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
That's right.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good,
Shit.
perhaps.
Maybe we screwed up there. I think I have a handle on the boat thing.
Good.
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
She falls silent for a moment, contemplating something.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Secret task complete. Interview the Wild Pines rep. I didn't remember that was the thing.
Of course,
Oh,
ma'am.
she said her
We should
badge
have
number.
introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57.
Lieutenant hands her a piece of blue plastic. Oh shit! We don't know her name or her badge number.
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Here we go.
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My last badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Okay, here we go. It's possible after a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world. I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing. We're not letting anyone know that we've forgotten everything. So we're just gonna go, yes.
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
I don't want to pick either of these options. I guess we're just gonna be honest. It's possible after a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of life in the world.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond.
Ah,
I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
exactly.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Fuck.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator.
Oh,
She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
suggestion. Sympathy for your amnesia. Okay. How do I negotiate my way out of this?
Feelings will guide the way.
Fuck. Fuck, shit. Balls. Ball sacks. But madam, I need to know about this lynching. It's very important to me. It's the case I'm solving.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's just gonna stand on this boat for like days while we try to find her badge. You don't understand. It's not like a side case for me. This is my main thing. You have so much else. I have only this. This is the entirety of my existence.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
This boat, for example, and a home somewhere. I only have this case.
Officer,
The carbon fiber hull creaks. I don't remember anything except this lynching. There's only this coast and this lynching. This case is what I will be known by.
you know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in. Somehow.
Okay.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible.
Okay. Like what?
The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment, madame. Gonna slide over here.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
The lieutenant's voice is hushed. How did she hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchman.
I tried. I was rolling dice and I didn't roll well. Shit, we had such a good chance to do that too. Really? I thought it was going so well.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
God damn it. I really thought I was playing her.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
Nah, we're not sorry. What do you propose? That we don't investigate the drug trafficking? Well, I mean, the cat's out of the bag, so to speak. That's the saying, right? We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Do you propose that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Okay, let's get back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, man?
Oh, breakthrough imminent.
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal?
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, man.
Huh.
Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Everard and the Dockworkers Union.
Really?
Still, every chain has its weak link.
She raises her bony fingers. We got a lot of information out of you. Am I going to need bullet cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable.
Every chain has its weak link. I just got that. Okay.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
She gives you a knowing look.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
You'll be indebted to her, in a way, but one step ahead of the Union in another.
Okay, so we got a lot of options here. Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier? It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it? What proof do you have the Union is involved? Okay, I made up my mind about the smuggling investigation. Let's discuss something else. Why did you come to us earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
So-called pissing contests.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
She smiles and points toward the roundabout. It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge.
Nice.
The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However...
She pauses, looking to the sea.
This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue.
She looks north.
Thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Let's get as much information as we can. What proof do you have that the Union is involved?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with the source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, but she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
Not like us. I want to talk about something else.
She simply nods.
Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Okay, what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things.
She points to the small dots on the horizon.
And that is the terminal. Another
To the
subdivision
east.
deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
You're in good company, it seems. We're not punning. How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
What exactly is a billion?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
What is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
That's it? I thought Wild Pine's supposed to be big time. Numbers like that mean nothing to me.
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary. But they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
And where does Wild Pines get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain.
So I knew that.
Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
Probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? You know what? We're gonna call her out on this. It probably helps to start with a royal monopoly.
You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that.
And what does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
She gives you a little smile. I feel like we might be like making a decision here. Workers or business? You don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company is nothing without them.
We built this district.
She says calmly.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP.
She points behind you where the seawall rises.
Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter.
She takes a sip.
I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
Guess she's kind of hanging out drinking, eh?
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Ooh. Can I have some money?
Voila.
Ha-ha!
You're doing it.
You seem rich. Can I have some money? Help me. I'm poor. I need money to keep living. I think we're gonna... You seem rich. Can I have some money?
Why, yes, I am rich. How much money do you need? Hopefully not too much. I couldn't bring all of it with me.
This is working.
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. If anything, you're finally asking it has relieved some of the tension.
I need $1 billion real.
Excuse me, sir. I don't have $1 billion real.
What? I thought you said you had like 20 billion or something.
That was the annual revenue of the entire Wild Pines Group, not my personal fortune.
Oh, okay.
Try again, dear. A little lower this time.
10,000?
Come now. Nobody carries that much cash on their person, particularly in a place like Martinez. I'd get robbed.
You gotta start big, guys.
And even if I did, I still would not give you 10,000 real. I would rather buy something nice with it, like expensive hi-fi or a new hydrodynamic E40 sail.
Ah, hi-fi. I like high-fidelity disco music, too.
I like high-fidelity anything, sir.
She gives you a fast
Now,
little smile.
try again, but lower.
70?
That's a good sum. Not too small. Not fantastically large, like $1 billion.
Reaches into her raincoat and pulls out a zip bag made of see-through plastic.
She removes a few notes
Holy
and
shit,
hands
we're
them to
rich!
you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch. Whoa, whoa. Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot, train to Moneytown.
Can I have some more?
This may seem like odd behavior for a police officer, man, but it's a perfectly common side effect of his
He squints at you.
unusual medical episode.
It's all right,
Yeah.
Lieutenant. I really did bring as little cash with me as possible to avoid attention. So here you are. The last bit of filthy lucre I can share.
Woman dips her fingers back into the bag.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You bribed me, all right? I'm your little peon now. I am an honorable policeman, one of the few good men in Revachol. I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out. Yeah, I'm an honorable policeman, one of the few good men in Revachol.
You're right, man, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
She bows and then raises a single eyebrow in her direction. When I hear about the strike.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator.
Ah, the SLN.
In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago. after that awful lynching took place.
Huh.
Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Oh, shit. Tell me more about this behemoth.
What can I say? The Union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now.
How are the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
Ah. February, okay.
I wasn't the original negotiator here.
Okay.
I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical
Oh, a
plan.
medical plan.
This time their
Wow.
demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Over-aggressive commie posturing. Forget it. I want to ask something else about the strike. I like it.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy.
Not hard communist enough for me. Nah, that's actually pretty weak.
Personally, I agree. It lacks the pizzazzo of every worker a member of the board.
What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
It's not very... It's not very, like, doable. That won't really work in practice very well.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
The workers can't be kings. The king is king.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Okay. Tell me about the union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are 2 of him? What?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself, outside the brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right expression.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
She turns to you.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
I mean, an effective advocate for the rights of local working men. I don't know enough about them. A giant leech sucking the life out of Revachol. Basically a socialist mob. I prefer not to have an opinion on these things. They do sound effective. I don't know. Things aren't really great around here either. So maybe they're not. Judging by what I'm hearing, a socialist mob, I guess. I don't have an opinion yet.
Of course, officer.
I'm just being honest. I have to talk to them to see what the conditions are like for the workers. What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it?
She pauses to compose herself.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes.
Plot
On the
thickens.
last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Oh, don't worry. I'm quite savvy.
Thank you for your concern, man. We'll be just fine.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
Actually, that's all for now.
Of course, detective. Take care.
Lonesome. Long way home.
There was...
Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
Learning cap for perception raised by 5. Speed gives you 1 psi. So this is the thought thing that we were working on. Look at this crazy freaking art. Love it. I guess we don't have anything else to research. What was the problem again? Drunken steps back home. The side alley there and your footprints in the mud. Plus an encyclopedia, factual memory returns. That's cool. What was this bonus from thought? All endurance white checks unlocked. Right. Learning cap for endurance raised to 4. That was like a lot to absorb there. Joyce's info on the lynching. Something she wants to tell you. That's to present her with your badge to hear it, right? Perhaps if you did her a favor, she could waive off the formality. In the case, you need to know what she knows. So that's right here. Oh, I see. We're like highlighting and unhighlighting stuff. You can only have a certain number of things highlighted, I guess. Or some things are on top of other things, so they're only showing one at a time. Cool. So where do we go next? I guess we're gonna follow this chain. But maybe we can try to go into this door?